AFCA committee and some other different things. So he's always very, very involved with all the issues and all the things that are happening. Does a great job at that. Very personable, really just a really, really good guy. We have a Big Ten coaches group chat to discuss issues. I think he heads up a lot of that. So I think he's, great about those things. I had a chance to meet his wife this year. They're a lovely family. So I have a lot of respect for him. His teams, I think they're going to play great defense. They're going to run the football. They're going to play great special teams. He was obviously, after an illustrious career, as a head coach, was with Coach Belichick. So I know he obviously understands that way of thinking, which is probably a lot like how we think, and doing a great job at Illinois. So I have a lot of respect for him.
Is Micah Mazuka going to be available this week?
No, he won't play this week. He's on the team. He's practicing with us. He's just working through some stuff right now. He's doing everything we asked him to do, but he won't be available.
Not injured?
No.
How'd you feel like Henry filled in? And, what are your thoughts there about your depth at guard?
Yeah, Henry, if you go back to the Colorado game, we put Henry in the fourth quarter, and Henry played the fourth quarter against Colorado. So, just Henry's a guy we earmarked as a starter coming into the year, and, obviously Mike and Justin did a great job for us the first game and a half. But Henry's healthy now, so ready to go.
You guys got some big plays on them on their defense last year, but you did that in a way that maybe you wouldn't do this year because you used Heinrich a lot. What do you see from their defense, and maybe where are some areas you feel like you guys can have some success?
Well, we hit the deep ball to Marcus, on the first drive. We hit some screens to Billy Kemp that were, led to some big plays. Ran Heinrich, as you said. They've altered a lot of what they're doing, right? They're a different defense than they were. Aaron Henry's their defensive coordinator, who I've known a long, long time. He's doing a great job of putting his imprint on it. They'll show man and play cover two. They'll show man and play zone. So they're playing some four down as well as the bear that they've been in. So it's not like playing them last year where you're coming in, it's all going to be bear man to man. Hey, we got to win versus man. You got to be ready for man zone with a young quarterback. He's got to recognize, because they don't show it to you, he's got to recognize the zone on the snap, and they're taking the ball away at a really high level. And some of those, besides their guys just making great plays. I mean, they got some great players on defense. Some of it, though, is also them doing a great job disguising, and the guy throwing a man beater into his zone coverage and then picking it off. So we have a lot to get done there. And then, to your point, we're a different team, though, than we were last year. Last year, we keep track of yards after contact. Last year we only had 71 yards after contact in this game, which is about as poor as you could ever be. But we had a lot of explosive plays that kind of made up for it. And then we had a bad fourth quarter. We started turning the ball over. So you can't turn the ball over versus them. I think they're +8 on the year right now. They've got 9 takeaways. They're protecting the ball.
How would you sum up the O-line so far? I think they've only allowed 1 sack, but just overall, what's your sort of view 3 games in?
We don't know anything about really those guys until we play in the Big Ten. They've done a really good job versus who we've played against. There's always areas we're always trying to work at, but this will be such a different challenge facing these guys. The pass, they have huge guys inside. They have excellent pass rushers on the outside, 9, 17-3. Now they're playing 17 and 3 together. This is, they create 5 one-on-ones, so everyone's got to win. If one guy loses, you struggle. So, but yeah, I've been pleased with our offensive line. I think they've done a really nice job. I think anytime you don't punt in a game, you probably feel pretty good. So I felt pretty good about what we did on Saturday offensively, but that was all preseason to me. Now the season starts. It's the first game for us in the Big Ten, and we'll find out where we are.
Hey, Coach, this is the 400th consecutive sellout. Have you given some thought on just the historical meaning of what this night will mean for Nebraska out in the 400th sellout here?
To be quite honest, I haven't. I certainly understand the gravity of it. I think the one thing that's really easy for me and great for me to explain to recruits. The first thing we do when recruits show up here on their official visit is we don't go do some fancy thing. We take a picture with them, and then we walk them right out into the field, and we show them hey, here's the number of sellouts in a row, and here's the All-Americans. And then we talk about the field and how our hope someday is that they win a championship on that field, but also that they graduate on that field, and how the University of Nebraska is not a football factory; it's a place of development, and that's a proof of it that you can sell out for 400 straight games, and you can lead the country in academic All-Americans. Now, they've changed some of the parameters and they're giving some away to other people, but we've been the leader in that for a long time. So It's just a perfect blend of everything, right? And it's what drew me here. It's what draws other people here. So I think getting to 400 will be great. My job, though, is to make sure that we win that game so that people leave happy about it, not anything else. So I'm just trying to stick to football.
Do you expect Jamari Butler to be available?
I do, yeah. Jamari could have played Friday night. I think that was more of a got Cam in there. We liked the way Cam was playing. Got Kai in there and just thought, you know what, we were in control of the game. Let's push him to this week and get him a little bit healthier for this Friday night game. You know, you play on a short week. We probably put some of the twos in earlier than I normally would in that game, which was actually really beneficial. They got a chance to play, like even on that fourth down, you know, fighting to keep them out of the end zone. I think that was really good for us. So Jamari should be way more healthier this week.
You talked about preseason, preseason being over. Given your experience in the NFL too, you approach it the same way, obviously, game week. But could you talk about the heightened stakes now that it's league play?
Yeah. So, I mean, you think about it very simply. Our goal is to go 1-0 every week. Now that we're over with it, though, when you look back on it in hindsight, like you went 1-0 in non-conference play, which is what we're supposed to do. Good teams do what they're supposed to do. But now we start the Big Ten, and we're trying to compete to win the Big Ten. That's why we're in it, right? So, you know, all of these games matter. All these games are important, and so this is a great opportunity. It's our first league game, and so yeah, we didn't certainly approach the preseason like the preseason. But to me, it's just, hey, now we're entering Big Ten play, so our approach doesn't change, but just the gravity of the situation is a little bit different.
How do you feel like
You guys have played in terms of your physicality, not only in the games but in practice. Like as you go into Big Ten's a physical league, how do you feel like you guys are doing physically?
I think we're doing fine physically. I mean, I think defensively, I think if you asked everyone on defense, they didn't like the tackling the other night. You know, our yards after contact, which has been in the 80s, the first two games was 180. So it was 100 yards more than it had been. So I think that was something that, you know, really kind of bothered us. Even at halftime, I was very calm and stoic at halftime. I was like, hey, you're going to win the game. It was bothering you guys right now, which is a really great thing. I'm so happy that it bothers us. Like, we're not just happy to win. Now we're starting to play to a standard and understand, like, when we're not playing to a standard, it really bothers us. So, you know, giving up a long drive and giving up 3 points in the first drive really bothered them. And that means that our guys are maturing, and they're not just playing, you know, they're not just playing to, you know, for the result. They're playing for the way that they play. So, you know, so physically, I mean, that was a game we went out and we decided we were going to throw it more than run it early on, and then hope to run it more in the second half and have a lead. As I told our team, we needed the defense to play better to run the ball more. We needed more than 45 plays. Kind of like, I think you asked that the other night, right, or whatever it was. So, you know, but I think we're a pretty physical team. We'll find out this Friday night. This is a really physical team. You look at their stats; they're about like us in every category. So we're playing a mirror image of ourselves.
You've had 3 games that have been in hand at halftime. Is it more important in practice during the week to create some of the situational stuff? And how do you mix that in during the season? I know, you know, scrimmages in August you can do that. How do you do that in a week like this?
It's really hard. I mean, we really have to focus on Thursdays on like, hey, here's our 2-minute. We have a lot of different situations that we call. We have rally, 2-minute, 4-minute last shot. Like we have all these things that maybe don't make sense to other people, but make sense to our guys. So we have to do them a little bit more. You know, at the end of the half, you know, we were moving in 2-minute, you know, and we moved from last shot into what we call attack because we got the first down, and 4th and 3. You know, the analytics say to go for that, right? In a game like that, maybe you kick that field goal because you can go up 24-3. But to me, we have to convert crucial plays if we want to be a great team. Great teams make great plays, and so that was a great opportunity to give that play to Dylan, give that play to the fellas, and say, all right, now go execute. You know, and we didn't execute that one, right? And so sometimes when you don't execute, you learn more than when you do execute. So I think everything we do is very intentional. And again, we were pretty certain we were going to win the game, and pretty certain that, you know, we were in control of the game. I would never do anything to hurt that. But, you know, when it's borderline there, I think creating those scenarios are important. So yeah, I think that those are good things. And then the other thing that we're now realizing, okay, is, and you know, this Friday night, obviously it's a ranked team, so it'll be maybe different, but we're no longer like the hunter. Like we're no longer like the unranked team that people are like, who do we have this? Oh, we're playing Nebraska. Oh, okay, we beat them the last 4 years. Now you're the team that your people are preparing for. You know, the UNI players who I had a lot of respect for. I mean, I thought that quarterback was a dude. I liked him too. Was a dude. after the game, they talked about, hey, we talked about this game all summer long, and our guys have to understand that, like, when then you start putting numbers in front of your name, right? People start saying, oh, we want to go beat a ranked team, So it's not quite your question, but I just do think our guys have to understand you're going to see different things. So all of a sudden we come out against these last week, and they're bringing 0 in the red zone. It's okay, well, they got us on one. Now we kick a field goal. That could cost us a game at some point, right? So we have to be better in those areas, and so we're having to do a lot more situational stuff. To your point, Mitch. Because we haven't been in, haven't had to go down there at the end.
Wallen has gotten on the field quite a bit these last 3 weeks. What have you seen from him to earn that playing time so far?
Yeah, Kai's the guy that could have played for us last year. We redshirted him because we're trying to build a championship caliber roster, and so sometimes we do things that are difficult to do in the moment, but pay off in the long run. And Kai and James were 2 of those decisions last year that we redshirted last year. And I appreciate the confidence like Kai and his family had in us to do that because he was playing pretty well when we sat him. But now he's out there. He's a redshirt sophomore. He's 260 pounds, and he's playing better than he would have played if he played last year. So he's rugged. He's physical. He can play. He can go inside and play a 3 technique. He can play outside as a 5. He's getting good pass rush. So he's a guy that you can put in there, mix in with the 2s, mix in with the 1s, and know that the level of play is not going to drop off.
Riley Van Poppel a 4-game guy, or
Yeah.
is he going to play the whole season?
Yeah, Riley will be a 4-game guy.
How do you communicate that to somebody when they played again most of all last year?
Hey, you can play 8 plays to 10 plays a game this year, or you can be Ty Robinson and those guys when they leave. And so that's a decision they make. Again, it's a credit to Riley. It's a credit to his family. And Riley was joking with me yesterday. He was like, hey, when they went down the field on that first drive, I was waiting for you to say, forget it, get in there. But I just think it's trust, right? In an era where I go to a lot of meetings and hear a lot of coaches say, like, these kids are going to transfer anyway, play them. Just because the system's changed doesn't mean a coach should change. Coaches are here. We're here to do what's right for the players. And so, Riley can certainly help us. We have other guys we think can help us, and we think Sue is going to come back and be healthy here soon. And, we're going to, if we can, and we have 2 more games with Riley. So, but I think Riley's going to be a great, great, great player here. And I think this year, because he stepped in for us last year, this year of development, he's on the scout team now. Just think of how much better our scout team is when we're out there today and we're having to block him. And then we got Brody Tagaloa back. I should make sure. And so happy for Brody, for him to get on the field this past Saturday was such a monumental thing. I've watched him. I've watched him in the weight room in the mornings at 6 a.m. for the last 2 years. And I think back to when he got hurt. His dad and mom coming in, and his dad saying to him, sometimes in life you have to embrace the delay. And I wrote that down. I said, what a beautiful thing. And Brody's just grown in the interim. So we have some guys back now, Sam, that allow us maybe with Riley.
Coach, you mentioned Ty Robinson. He could have left 1, maybe even 2 years ago. But what does that say that he had trust in you to come back for this year?
Yeah, I mean, I told him to leave, so he didn't trust me too much because I said, you should go make some money, I just think the world of him. Honestly, I just think the absolute world of him. Guys like Ty Robinson are why guys like me coach, just that daily interaction, that daily relationship. And the great thing about Ty is he lets me be me. I'm sarcastic and snarky out there on the field. I'm taking shots and da-da-da. And like guys like Bear and him, I teased Bear the whole week against Colorado that, we weren't going to need him that week because it wasn't a run game. It was going to be a pass rush game. He got a sack and he's like yelling at me from the field. Like, that's why I do this. I don't do it for any other reason. I love watching those guys. And so Ty's bringing that group along too. Ty's bringing that group along. And what I love is when they leave, their legacy will be here. And Ty talks a lot about the guys who were here before him. So it wasn't like there wasn't great leadership in the D-line room before that. Coach Dawson, all those guys did a great job. Ty talks a lot about that. But Ty, Jamari, Nash, I can't imagine a better group. And next year when it's Cam and Riley and those guys, I don't think we'll skip a beat.
Did you see him take out with Tenza?
Yeah. So after we beat Colorado, Jordan sent that out, just the video of it on we have a whole staff group chat. It's like 100 people, and I put it on my family group chat. And my 9-year-old, my 11-year-old, they thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Julia thought it was the funniest thing in the world. So I saw on Twitter them shaking hands now. So that's we can have fun without being silly, right? So I like that they're having some fun, but no one practices harder than Ty. He comes to practice every day like it's a game, and so it makes it fun to coach.
What'd you think of Fliggy and long snapping?
I thought it was great. Yeah, it was great. He was going to do the short snaps. Cam was going to do the deep snaps again. We didn't punt, so we didn't need that. But I thought he put the ball in his hand, and our field goal operation is still a work in progress. We made a couple short ones. We're still a work in progress, and for us to be the team we want to be, it's going to have to continue to improve. And so each week's just taking another step. Our protection was better. Our snaps were better. Now we're going to do what we want to do. You have to hit a 57-yarder to win it, like Alex Henry did whatever years ago, right? Those kind of moments happen, and so building up to that is important for us. It could be this Friday.
Are there some advantages to be home on a short week, just to have that extra time without having to travel, already losing a day?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think especially on a night game, just the fact we can come over here and use the facility and all that stuff is great. That being said, last year we went there, and we were emotionally, physically, and mentally ready. There's 3 levels of ready you have to be. You have to be physically ready, you have to be mentally ready, you have to be emotionally ready. Last week we were physically and mentally ready. I don't know if our defense was emotionally ready, and that's hard to do. That's why teams don't go undefeated very often unless they're way more talented. It's just very hard to win every game. I thought our offense was definitely emotionally ready, right? But last year when we went to this game, we were all 3, right? And they were a really good team. There's nothing that was going to stop us, so can we? While I'm happy we're at home, it's really about those 3 things. Or are we going to be ready to play on Friday night, or is it going to be about all this other stuff? This is going to be an absolute battle. They're a really, really good team, and it's why in preseason when people start asking about the schedule's easy early, is it? I mean, I'm looking at power rankings now, and we have one of the hardest schedules in the Big Ten moving forward. Coming out last week, right? So all that preseason's fluff everyone talks about is not real. You get to especially now in the transfer portal era, you better just get to the season and see who you're playing. And now we're facing a ranked team in week 4, right? And it looks like there's some more ranked. We'll be facing some more ranked teams. The key for us is to play well, so we can be a ranked team. And so this is an excellent team we're facing that's on a mission right now. So we'll have to be ready.
I know you already played some really good receivers in Colorado, but Illinois' got 2 guys, including one in Pat Bryant. I think you guys saw last year. A, what kind of players are they, and B, how beneficial is it to have somebody playing at the level that Tommy's playing, where teams don't even really target him very much?
Yeah, well, you look at their offense, right? I mean, they're a big power running game with a mobile quarterback. And mobile quarterbacks have bothered us. Okay, mobile quarterbacks have bothered us, but they have 2 explosive receivers on the outside, right? So whether it's Bryant, whether it's Franklin, like they can attack you, and they do a good job of they try to stress you by putting them both out here. So you either have to play a 1-on-1 to stop the run, or you have to double them and play cover 2 or quarters or something like we did against Colorado, and now they can run the football with a 250-pound back. And their other backs got in there this week, and they all ran the ball well. So very well put together with how they're doing it. Those guys, one thing about them is they've thrown the deep ball. They have more explosive plays than we have. I mean, they're throwing the deep ball, getting one-on-one coverage, not afraid to put it up, and they have great catch radiuses. They can hold off a defender and go up and catch the football. So luckily with Tommy's 205 pounds. He's not a little corner, right? And I think Buford's been playing really, really, really well. And Buford can play corner. He played the dime for us versus Colorado. He's very versatile. And then Jeremiah and Amari can play as well. So that'll be one of the main matchup problems. One of the main matchup issues in this game is how well we do versus those 2 receivers when we choose to play a run front. Can we win the 1-on-1s? How well we do with the quarterback containing him. You saw UNI was using the zone read and all that, and they can do that with the quarterback. They can also, the Wisconsin last year, drop back, quarterback draw, which they do. So it's our front stopping the quarterback, and then, again, the power run game. And, if we give up 180 yards after contact, we won't win the game.
He was going to go watch the film on Saturday night instead of doing it Sunday because of the short week. And how have you managed that, accelerating this week with your guys so that they're not missing anything that they need to do?
Yeah, so I take a little, maybe a different approach than a lot of people. I keep like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I don't move it up a day. A lot of people move it up a day. But we do come in on Sunday. So on Sunday we came in, we cleaned up the practice film, we cleaned up the game film, because there was a lot to learn from that game. So we didn't move ahead. We sat there and did all that. We got our lifts in like we would normally do on Monday, Mitch, and then we walked through Illinois. We got ahead. But today we came out. Today's a Monday for us, and so we'll do Tuesday, we'll do Wednesday. Then like our normal Thursday practice will be a walkthrough, but we also walk through on Friday just like we would have on a Saturday. So we don't overdo it. We don't move it up too far forward. And to your point, like I got a text from Dylan Saturday morning. This is what I need to improve upon. Like he's very good about illustrating that for himself, so he can get better. He takes great ownership of his things, and most of our guys, I think, do a great job. They've watched the tape before we watch it with them. That's a cultural thing that we have here that guys have had instilled in them. Thanks, guys.